Ladies and gentlemen, how do you even start off a video like this today? I really don't know. I've been sat here for the last, 5 minutes trying to think to myself, how do I introduce what we're going to be talking about? But I don't think there is a proper way. Today we're going to be talking about a truly horrific story. It's horrible, and it just further proves we really do have evil walking amongst us that have also been brainwashed and corrupted by a very evil agenda. But yesterday, as I'm sure most of you know, news started to break everywhere that a shooting had taken place at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. And as a result of that, man, it is truly sad. 2 children have lost their lives and 17 were injured. 14 of them were children and 3 were adults, according to reports. Now, to even read that out, man, it's truly heartbreaking. You can't wrap your head around it. 2 children lost their lives, 17 were injured, 14 of them were children. And I understand this is YouTube, so I have to be careful what I say, but you have to be one sick individual, which this person is, to go ahead and commit such a crime. Now, the person who did commit the shooting is no longer alive either, because they also took their own life. Now, interestingly, we didn't hear about the identity of the shooter for some time, so whenever that happens, it's something that the media aren't going to want to talk about, and they are going to move away from this very quickly, just like they did with Audrey Hale, because once again, the shooter is transgender. This trend we are seeing of people within these progressive communities committing horrific crimes needs to be addressed. These people are not okay. And I'm putting that lightly, alright? Because again, this is YouTube and I gotta be careful what I say. This video is getting censored, suppressed anyway, but I do think it is evil that society for so long has essentially clapped and cheered for people's mental health issues. Because transgenderism, every aspect of it, is a mental illness. And we have these woke activists, these liberals, people within high positions, pharmaceutical companies who have pushed this agenda, and now people are truly sick in the head. But we're going to be getting into this story and checking out some details because some shocking things have emerged, and then after that we'll be checking out reactions from people like Matt Walsh. But before we do get into this, ladies and gentlemen, as always, make sure to leave a like rating, as it really does help out the video. Again, this is going to get censored, so all your support really does mean the world. Every like, every comment, every share, it really does help the video get pushed out further in the algorithm. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Follow my socials down below in the description, and let's get into it. So we're going to start off with this Sky News article. As you can see, it says what we know about Minneapolis school shooting and the suspected attacker. Man, 2 children have been and 17 other people injured after a shooter opened fire at a school in Minneapolis. The shooter, Robin Westman, opened fire with a rifle through the windows of a church at Annunciation Catholic School and struck a group of children as they sat in pews on Wednesday morning. That is horrific. As you can see there, it also says, FBI says attack investigated as terrorism, as it should be. The victims were aged 8 and 10, and others injured, including 14 children, 2 of whom were in critical condition, according to the city's police chief, Brian O'Hara. It is heartbreaking. Now, let's get into the details of what actually happened with this situation. Police were called to the school at just after 8:20 a.m., 2:20 p.m. UK time, after witnesses reported hearing semi-automatic gunfire at the pre-kindergarten through 8th grade school. The shooting happened during a mass for all year groups coming during the first week of term. Police Chief Mr. O'Hara said the shooter, armed with a rifle, shotgun, and pistol, approached the side of the church and fired dozens of rounds. He called the attack a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshipping. Man, all the people that have been affected by this because of this evil person. Yeah. Oh boy. He also said a wooden plank had been used to barricade some side doors. Authorities also found a smoke bomb, but no explosives at the scene, Mr. O'Hara said. The FBI said it is investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. What we know about the suspect: police said they believe the suspect died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound on the site's car park. Mr. O'Hara said the suspect had been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, a male born as Robert Westman. Yeah. Now, as you can see, this is the shooter right there, and let's get into now the mindset of this person, because some shocking things have really come out. But as you can see, the Daily Mail have reported Minneapolis school shooter Robin Westman revealed as transgender, and anti-Trump, as Democrats call for shooting to be depoliticized. You know what's crazy about that? If this was a straight white male, they wouldn't be saying this. They would be all over it. They would be saying white supremacists, etc., etc. And now you're going to hear talk, conversations, debates once again about guns. I'm going to tell you, it's not the guns. All right, there are going to be people in this country as well say, oh, this is why they shouldn't have guns, whilst our knife crime is through the roof. It's the people behind the weapon. The gun didn't shoot itself. The person has to pull the trigger, and the person behind the trigger, the person using the weapon, is not okay. Let's just say that Democrats got their way with guns. These people would still commit crimes. They would just find other ways. So stop trying to use this argument of, oh, we need to get rid of the guns, we need more control, when people are still mentally ill and they don't want to address the actual problem because the Democrats, the left, the woke liberals have pushed this mental illness. The Minneapolis school shooter, Robin Westman, is a transgender woman whose mother worked at the school where 2 children were. Court records seen by Daily Mail indicate that Westman had previously been known as Robert, being petitioned to have his name changed in 2019. According to court papers filed in Dakota County, Minnesota, Westman asked the court to change his name to Robin. Westman had his mother Mary sign the application for a name change as he was still a minor at the time. The petition was later approved in January of 2020. It adds that Westman identifies as a female and wants his name to reflect that identification. It has since emerged that his mother was an employee at the school before she retired in 2021. Court receipts indicate his family paid $311 in fees to have his name changed to Robin. The Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey denounced transphobia after the revelations about Westman's identity. Of course, already, it's transphobia. See, this is what I mean. These Democrats are not okay. They are also sick as well. But a now deleted YouTube account believed to belong to Westman shared what appeared to be a manifesto just hours before the shooting. Police are looking into the disturbing 20-minute video, according to the New York Post. The video appeared to show a drawing of a church. It then showed someone stabbing the drawing repeatedly as he quietly says, "I'm going to." Other clips posted to the YouTube account show gun parts, a semi-automatic rifle, and a shotgun. The gun parts had the names of other masks written on them. One of the parts has a message on it aimed at President Donald Trump, calling for him to be. Police said the gunman parked his vehicle near the school, and they will be investigating it as part of their probe. Mate, this woke agenda needs to go. Transgenderism, it needs to go. We need to get rid of all of this woke crap. Now, I don't know what I can and cannot show you guys regarding the manifesto, etc., etc., but we have libs of TikTok who posted this. Alleged Minnesota Catholic school shooter has been identified as Robin Westman, reportedly identified as transgender. His manifesto included pride flags and a gun with etched onto it. So we have the dude there. You can see it has the trans flag with an AK-47, I think that is. Doesn't really matter, but it's a gun nonetheless, and it says defend equality. Seems very kind and not aggressive whatsoever. Then you have this here where it says Donald Trump, rip and tear. There has got to be some level of a demonic presence within someone to go about and also do this. And you know, we have a lot of these pages of, you know, the manifesto going around. As you see this one here, somebody goes on to say, a disturbing image was found in the Minneapolis transgender Robin Westman's manifesto. Now, as you can see, the has allegedly drawn his reflection in the mirror, and you can see what that reflection shows. Now, that just shows you what state of mind this person is in. They are truly sick, they're evil and disturbed. But we have Ollie London here, who has posted an image of some of the weapons that this person has. He goes on to say, trans Minneapolis Catholic school wrote chilling messages on his gun magazines. Robin Westman, who identified as female and previously went by the name Robert until 2020, wrote Donald Trump for the children and Where Is Your God on his gun magazines. Man, this person is deranged, disturbed. The gun magazines were seen in a chilling video posted by the. Now, I don't think I can actually show you guys the video, because if YouTube have taken it down, then most likely they will take down my video as well for having the same content in it. But here is an image here of the magazines. As you can see, we have one here. Where Is Your God? Suck on this. The big one. F everything that you stand for. I don't really know what else I can call this, man. It's just horrifying on a whole. different level. And we have this post here from Matt Walsh that is going viral. It's on, what, 4.5 million views, and he goes on to say, every trans person is dangerously delusional, they are mentally sick, and doctors should be legally barred from affirming their mental illness in any way. Agreed. Adult or child. Agreed. Everyone knows it. Now, innocent children are, because so many people were too cowardly to speak up. But no, it's the guns, obviously, as the left will say. We also have another post that he made, and he says this: the trans agenda is losing. They're losing on every playing field, in every area of American life. We've defeated them politically, we've defeated them culturally, but understand this, now is precisely the moment when trans militants are the most dangerous. They've lost, the game is over. Now they're more desperate than ever, more full of hatred and anger than ever. They're going down, but they'll take as many sane, normal people with them as they can. It's going to get worse from here. Be on your guard. Can't disagree with that one, can you? We are seeing too many people from this community, these progressive communities, committing crimes. It's very concerning. Now, Benny Johnson has posted, one thing is very clear. The trans movement is radicalizing the mentally ill into becoming who target children for. The pattern is undeniable. Today's Annunciation Catholic Church identified as trans. The Nashville Christian identified as trans. The Lakewood Church identified as trans. The Colorado Springs identified as non-binary. The Denver identified as trans. The Aberdeen identified as trans. The Iowa High School was a trans activist. Radical gender ideology is driving violence and targeting innocent people. Enough excuses, enough denial. The threat is real and it's escalating. Time for a national intervention, and shame on every single person who pushed this agenda. But we're going to close out this video here with Jesse Waters on Fox News calling out the trans epidemic. Nick Salter says, wow, Jesse Waters just called out the trans epidemic. The left weaponizes trans kids, turning them into culture warriors, and they've been turned loose against the church, schools, and Trump. You see it, I see it. But the stats show the trans population has been prone to violence. That's reality. And if you can't recognize reality, you are in danger. The trans clan has a militant wing, and it's out for blood. They are taking lives, defiling churches, and freaking everybody out. Politicians should stop elevating the trans issue as if it's the civil rights struggle of the 21st century. Yeah, enough said there. This video is almost 5 minutes long, so let's just check out what Jesse Waters has to say.
So a transgender who hates Trump's Christians and Jews shoots up kids at a Catholic school, and the media wants to take away your handgun. So how are we supposed to protect ourselves from trans? The media is bad at pattern recognition. We aren't. Just 2 years ago, another trans 20-something walked into a Christian school in Nashville with a rifle and shot 3 kids and 3 adults. They buried the manifesto and locked down the case. We've seen shootings in Colorado and in Maryland. They even shot up an ICE facility in Texas. And it seems like half of Antifa's trans. A couple of they-thems just got popped for firebombing Teslas. The mayor of Minneapolis says, you can't say that.
Anybody who is using this as an as an opportunity.
This is a clear example of a man with no spine.
Other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
I don't hate anyone who thinks they're trans. I feel sorry for them. But statistically, the trans population has been prone to violence. That's not villainizing, that's reality. And if you can't recognize reality, you're in danger. We love the American people, especially American children. And if they're troubled and believe they're somehow a girl trapped in a boy's body, we want to get them help. We don't want to give them hormones and operate on them. Society shouldn't be trying to produce more trans kids. We shouldn't be encouraging an emotional disorder.
So all those people as well who push the idea of kids becoming trans.
From it. Great Britain ended child sex change surgeries.
You need help as well.
Barbaric, and they're right. And politicians should stop elevating the trans issue like it's the civil rights struggle of the 21st century. You see it all over Minneapolis.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for our trans communities.
For being a safe haven for transgender individuals.
We have sued them for gender-affirming care. Yes, we are not going to scapegoat our transgender community.
These people ain't ever winning another election, I'll tell you that for a fact.
They are.
Yeah, look at the t-shirt that this woman is wearing, by the way. Now, you can't see all of it, but it says protect trans kids, I believe, and you have a knife on there. The asylums need to be reopened, man, because these are the sort of people that would be in there.
So when your 9-year-old tells you he's a horse, do you let him sleep out in the barn and eat hay? What are we doing here?
I have no idea, mate.
Just a few years ago, the psychiatric community classified transgenderism as a mental illness. Then doctors went woke and removed it as a condition, and now millions of young Americans are identifying themselves as trans and getting high fives. When someone has an illness, we should treat it instead of affirm it. We don't celebrate schizophrenia. We don't encourage depression. Teenagers are confused. Sometimes these things are just a phase. And if they're not, all right, then a grown man can wear a dress. If he wants to do that in America, he has that right. We're a pretty darn tolerant society. But the left's weaponizing trans kids and turning them into culture warriors. And they've been turned loose against the church, schools, and Trump. You see it, I see it. The trans clan has a militant wing, and it's out for blood. They're taking lives, defiling churches, and freaking everybody out. And some politicians are doing more to protect shooters like Westman than soft targets like schools. In 2023, private schools in Minnesota begged Governor Walz to fund more school safety. They told him it was an urgent and critical need. Minnesota had an $18 billion budget surplus, but the governor didn't do it. Instead,
how that guy still has a job is crazy, man. It really is.
Sanctuary. And his Attorney General, Keith Ellison,
yeah, after this,
Trump
he should be gone.
Keep castrating little boys. Tim Walz failed. Our leaders keep failing us. They failed us during COVID, on trade, on immigration. They say they care about kids, but they locked them down and oversaw an obesity and chronic disease epidemic. And now there's a growing trans epidemic, and they won't even admit it. Just like crime. They created a crisis and then lie about it and blame you for not being compassionate. But their fake compassion is getting people.
What else can you say, man? He hits the nail on the head. It's sad more than anything that society has been put in this situation because of the evil people want to push. And this is why, man, I constantly call out this agenda because it is a disgraceful agenda. It is sick to the very core. It cannot be allowed to be pushed, celebrated in any way anymore. I also feel so sorry for all the families involved. I really do. They shouldn't have to go through something like this. Nobody should have to go through something like this because of one evil person, one sick person. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, about this story. What are your thoughts on everything discussed in this video? I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video, but until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.